Okay, we're on.
I remember it live.
Okay, we'll bring the public hearing to order. It is 6:30 p.m. This public hearing is in regards to an ordinance adaptation for our Veterans Memorial, which will basically help our veteran members receive some funding so the city can contribute to this. I don't know if you've all had a chance to take a look at the actual ordinance. Pretty straightforward. We will also be looking at some resolutions to adopt that ordinance as well. There's actually, the first one we're going to be dealing with would be the actual ordinance, what that runs through.
You want that read?
What's that?
You want that ordinance read?
You can read it now. We'll also do it at the council
Well, that's
meeting.
what I'll read at council meeting.
Yep. So go ahead. No, go ahead, Matt.
Go ahead now. You want to read?
Sure. We'll read it again.
The ordinance read or the resolution?
The
Just do
ordinance. The actual
Just do the
ordinance.
ordinance? Okay.
Yeah.
The City Council of the City of Pierz, Morrison County, Minnesota ordains an ordinance to establish a Veterans Memorial, whereas the City Council of the City of Pierz would like to recognize the service of all United States military personnel, and whereas Minnesota Statute 416.01 requires an ordinance providing for the erection, equipment, and maintenance of a building or monument or parks in recognition of these services performed by soldiers, sailors, Marines, and war veterans of the United States. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Pierz, Morrison County, State of Minnesota that 1. The City Council of the City of Pierz authorizes a Veterans Memorial to be constructed, equipped, and maintained in Village Park within the City of Pierz. And 2. This ordinance shall take effect and shall be enforced upon publication.
Very good, Matt. And that just basically states, I think if anybody's got any question about why this ordinance has to be adopted, it is state law. And it kind of goes back to just permission, and the city has to authorize any equipment, construction, or maintenance within the city park in order to do this. So that is what this meeting is all about. Is there any questions? I mean, is there any concerns with the council on how we proceed with this?
I got a question.
Mike?
I don't want to open up a can of worms.
Open
But-
up.
Okay, it says the maintenance of a building. Okay, our budget line for donating to, whether it's Oktoberfest, the parade, the fireworks, Freedom Fest, all this stuff, it always says that we can donate taxpayer money to promote this city. I do agree that this promotes to a degree. My question is, okay, let me be the devil's advocate. Say another service organization, what could we say? Who builds those houses? What's Kathy? Habitat for Humanity. Say they come and ask, okay, can we donate to that as a city then? But we have to do it ordinance-wise, or, you know?
No, the resolution.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, if you.
I don't want to open up a can of worms on, you know, I look at it as it's taxpayer money.
Absolutely.
And, I mean, the last discussion we had in the workshop, I was kind of under the impression that if we just do away with all this and just go take it out of the park line item, we have, it's
That was never talked about at the public hearing, Mike.
at the workshop.
At the workshop, that was never talked about.
That's the way I kind of perceived
Never
it.
brought up.
It was another avenue. But,
I guess the question, no, I mean, you know, because I don't know where you're coming from. So.
well, I'm just saying, not that I don't want to do something for this thing, but I researched all weekend. And on, you know, what you found, what Scott found, and you know, Mary's emails, and it just, I'm uncomfortable with all the gray area. And I want to do things right. I just still think the cleanest way would be, it's going up in the city park. We do the dirt work and the landscaping, it comes out of a park line budget item. We're not directly cutting a check or donating per se to that organization, but we still are donating towards it by going that way.
The extra work,
You
Well,
know,
I think that's kind
and-
of skirting around what the law actually states. If this is gonna be for the Veterans Memorial, I mean, the statute clearly states what we have to do. I mean, there's no gray area within the statute. It's not a gray area. We've talked to our city attorney. This is what we need to do to get this in place, I believe. You know?
Yeah, I have to agree with you totally on that. It seems like if we, I see both sides of it, but if we would go kind of under the table or around the back door with not passing a resolution and just donate onto the side and say, well, this is for pavers or this is.
We wouldn't donate, we would,
We'd put
bill it to
money
the
towards
city.
it, but then it's still, it's still in regards going
it's-
towards a veteran
Veterans Memorial,
memorial.
no matter how you look at it.
let's go on the landscape our park. Is the way I
I'm
would
not
look at
getting,
it.
I'm not getting
I
into
think-
that type of government. I'm not getting into that type of, you know.
I think there'd be
Either
more
we do
risk
it
involved doing
straightforward
it
on the
that
up
way
and up, or
than.
we don't do it. I'm not doing that.
I think there's more risk involved with, like what you wanna do there, Mike. I just, you know, legality.
I
is
just, I'm
legality. I
not
understand that.
comfortable with all of this. It just,
Well, I mean, if you don't wanna donate towards the Veterans Memorial, just say it. It's not that big a deal.
I do wanna donate towards it, but I just think.
This
by
is the
doing-
legal way to do it. There's no gray area. This is the legal way to do it.
There's two ways to do it. You can either A, do one with the groundwork, because it's our own property and we can improve our property in any way that we want. Or two, if we wanna cut them a check, then we need an ordinance in place via resolution, and then a resolution for what we're doing. There's two ways to do it.
Is that what
Does
the,
it either
Yes.
way takes the ordinance?
No, one way, if we literally give them a check as them being the
Right.
contractor.
That was our original thing that we were doing it
Yes.
for the 2000.
Correct.
And then we discussed not doing, cutting a check, but doing work at the park. So for example, upgrading the
Correct. And if you
the
look,
sidewalk, whatever,
look at
flagpole.
resolution, there's two resolutions. One is for doing the work such as construction for the memorial, i.e. the city would provide sidewalks, concrete work, dirt work, etc. Or, as consideration for the memorial of the veterans, the city council shall pay whatever their title is and the sum of the $2,000 that we agreed on at first. So there's two ways to do this.
Either way, you're telling us.
We should just
needs
do the
ordinance.
ordinance
Ordinances
to
either.
eliminate certain things. But it is our own property, we do not need an ordinance, I mean, it's our property, we can build it, whatever to our own property. It's ours. As far as the memorial, they still own the memorial. That is not our
It's just
property.
placed on city property.
Correct.
well, not according to this.
To which,
Well, it says even if you're gonna maintain, right? The ordinance providing for the
Are we gonna
erection,
maintain
equipment, and maintenance of the building, monument, park in recognition of the services performed by soldiers, sailors, Marine War veterans.
are we gonna maintain it?
Well, who else is gonna maintain it?
Well, then technically it should be our property then if we're gonna maintain it.
So, Fred, can I ask when this is all done? Is eventually it gonna get turned over to the city of Pierz?
Huh?
Is eventually the memorial itself gonna be turned over to the city of Pierz?
I have no power on that.
Okay, I'm just,
Yeah,
do anything.
the thing is by about April, see, right now in India, as Obama's shaking hands, their craftsmen are working on our deal. Cause that's where it's coming from. That's the only place good, either there or China is the only place that good black granite comes from. And so,
But after everything is said and done, Fred, as far as, you know, anybody that's affiliated with you or anything in that nature, is there anybody besides the city of Pierz that would be maintaining that? You know, what happens 5, 10, 15 years down the road, or just routine maintenance, what happens? Who's gonna-
Yeah, pull up a chair.
There should be no maintenance, because the thing is, the outfit we were getting it from, they guarantee it.
Okay.
They, in fact, they had some that weighed, oh God, 10, 15,000 pounds with a fine crack, and they're replacing it. So really, other than the grass and that around,
Right.
there should be no,
Sidewalks,
there should be
sidewalks,
no
things of
maintenance.
that nature. No, on the
The,
memorial
I made
itself.
myself, we don't have a teleprompter here, so I made a couple notes.
Darn it, we needed to get
But
one for you.
so if something would happen, let's say, okay, so just to look forward, and this would never happen in 100 years, but let's say that memorial does, something cracks, something's faulty with it. Now, if we accept this ordinance, are we as a city responsible to
No,
replace
you are
that?
not. You should not be. The,
But I know what you're saying, Fred, but according to
That's
the ordinance, the city would be responsible for the statute. If we're gonna donate to that, I think the city would be responsible.
I really appreciate your generosity in trying to do this, you know.
Mhm.
And I'm glad it was caught, because it would be hell for you guys trying to do, you folks, you trying to do a good thing and get your fingers slapped. You know, it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah.
I guess it's most what everybody heard.
We're actually in a public hearing right now in regards to.
No, you're, no, that's fine. You're
That's
fine.
why-
You're
that's why
fine.
one-
Public input,
The
and that's
regular-
what you're
The
here
regular
for.
meeting is at 7, so yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we're in a public hearing right now.
But that's just kind of what we're in the process of, is taking care of all these legalities. We
Yeah,
want
no,
to make
no,
sure that
that-
we're kind of
that's right.
covered in
And like I
what
said,
what we're
The
responsible for
last
going
thing,
forward.
I would assume, like with my PhD son out in Colorado Springs, he says, well, he said,
Thank you.
can't they take care of the landscaping if it's their property? And maybe need a sidewalk, because we don't care about the sidewalk, you know. I mean, things of that nature, you know,
That's what we're,
That's what
that's
we're
what we're talking
That's
about
what,
now.
Yeah.
And I heard on the radio that somebody was resigning.
Well,
Yeah.
we don't know that yet then.
That's the
coming
next
up.
meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stick around, stick around, Freddie.
It's so nice, but I hate to see something like that
But the
happen.
thing is what, that's kind of what we're discussing here, is that we don't have a problem with, let's say, putting a sidewalk in or doing some landscaping in the amount that we feel comfortable with donating, but the thing is there's such a fine line there, because
Yeah.
everybody knows that there's obviously a memorial there, okay? Well, now we put in a sidewalk, and now you're touching that fine line of, well, are we doing something for the memorial, therefore we need to have an ordinance passed, or are we doing something to improve our own property? So,
Can you throw down some black dirt and some lawn seed?
I think the question really needs to come back to one simple question that we all need to answer. And that is, do we want to donate towards this project or don't? If we want to donate towards this project,
It's a
here's
two-part
an avenue,
question.
here's an avenue to do it. If you don't want to donate to the project, that's fine, but that's a question, all this skirting around and trying to figure out different ways. We agreed to donate $2,000 towards this thing at the last meeting. Do we still want to do that? That's what this really all boils down to. Do we want to do that or don't we? If we do, here's the ordinance in place to allow us to do it. If we don't want to do it, that's, a decision we're gonna have to make. But that's a question you have to ask yourself right off the bat.
I guess, I'm assuming, speaking for myself, but I don't know any of us that don't want to donate to it. It's a matter of, are we opening up anything by giving the $2,000, or by doing the other thing here where we say we'll do the sidewalks and we'll take it out of a line item budget, still donating to it, but it's coming out of a line item like the parks or whatever.
Yeah,
Well,
wouldn't matter.
here's the bottom line, guys, you know, I wanna donate to the statue, you know, it's a good project, that kind of thing. The question is whether we're gonna donate to the statue or not, because guess what? It's going in the city park, and we're gonna do the landscaping regardless.
Yes.
So,
We're doing-
you know,
we're doing
bottom
work
line is we're doing landscaping no matter what, because we're doing landscaping no matter what, it's our park. So, we're just back to, are we gonna do the statue or aren't we? And it's
Yeah.
whether we do grass or we do sidewalk or
Or we
we do
do
this or we do
grant, or
that.
we donate towards the statue itself.
Well, no, we're gonna do the landscaping anyway, because if you put a statue there and you don't do the
Well, okay.
landscaping, that's stupid, so,
Well, exactly, all that stuff needs to be done in this project, we understand.
so.
Whatever you do, make sure every T is crossed and every I is dotted, because you know darn well, being it was on the radio, there's a damn flag up there somewhere.
There you go, somebody's,
And watch
somebody's,
it like a
yeah.
hawk.
Well,
Yeah.
But with the documents I've presented,
this is the legal way, this came
This
straight
is-
from our
Yeah,
attorney.
He's doing a good job.
this
Came straight
is
from our
the
attorney.
legal way
This is-
to do it.
Yes, this is the
And he
way.
broke it down into 2 resolutions, we can do either or if you wanna do both, you can do both. But these are the options that was presented to me to present to you. So, this is the ordinance, and these are the resolutions. Being what we discussed, it would be either or. So,
So, yes, we got the ordinance, now we gotta decide which resolution we're gonna do. Cause the ordinance is the ordinance, that's gotta go
Oh.
either way.
Well, we
It's
need,
the
we need a
resolution.
resolution to adopt the ordinance as well.
correct.
Yes.
So, but this
And
is
the
just
other,
a
the other
public,
resolution is just has a dollar amount stated on it, what it's gonna be for.
You gotta decide,
Yeah.
but there's 2 different,
realistically, we should do either or, unless you.
A resolution or an
no,
ordinance.
no.
No,
You've
you
got
have to
the
have
first
the
thing,
resolutions.
you've got the first thing,
So
and then
look
you
at the-
have 2 other pieces of paper.
Okay, so first we have the ordinance. During the meeting, if we wanna approve the ordinance, we do it via resolution. And we can make that resolution
Yeah.
during the meeting.
Right?
Then, there are 2 resolutions I prepared, not knowing which one that we wanna adopt or take. We need to figure out how you wanna present the donation. Via a lump sum of cash directly to their, I don't, what would you be as far, Fred?
American Legion.
Would it be the American Legion, or what would be,
You mean
what is
The
your
organization.
company?
But the organization, it's not the American Legion. With, you know, the thing is, we're the ones that
It's just a
spearhead.
group
So,
of individuals.
okay, but Fred, so if we cut a check for $2,000, who are we
We-
ready
we
to
have
check
to have
to?
Okay, that goes to the Rich Prairie,
The Rich Prairie Post American Legion.
no, Rich Prairie Veterans Memorial account.
Okay.
So there is an
Rich
account
Prairie
called.
Veterans Memorial.
No, there's not even a nonprofit who we're working with. It's a group of people who organize to try and get this done.
Technically, that's a nonprofit. That's
They
not,
don't have a
that's,
501c3 status.
Well, then it would be-
The thing is,
so then would you be
we're-
set up
we're-
as a sole prop or a corporation, or if you're not a nonprofit, then what would?
bunch of individuals.
we're a nonprofit. That's the account the bank set up.
It's just an account.
It's just an account. We don't want the people to feel that it's the American Legion doing this, because we feel it's all veterans and family and the community. We don't want it, in fact, we have veterans in our community that I wish would get involved. Because the thing is,
This is the thing is, Toby, at the end of the year, I have to file things, and I would need some type of an identification number or a social security number or something to send a 1099 because we donated over $600.
Towards a statute.
That would be under whoever the account
Towards
was
a,
opened up
towards a
under.
statute.
But then it looks like it's a private entity.
Yeah.
Let's just do it this way. Let's get Tom here at the next council meeting and let's run through this stuff, because we're making a mountain out of a very simple molehill. This doesn't have to be this complicated.
I
This doesn't
don't
have to
think
be
so
this
either.
screwed up.
I think that we can adopt the ordinance and just,
This is
Agree on
getting
a
carried,
resolution.
this is getting carried away. I've heard more reasons that we cannot donate $2,000 to a veterans memorial tonight than you can shake a stick at, and I'm tired of it. Let's move on, let's get the attorney here. He can answer whatever questions that we may have and be done with it. This is ridiculous. It's a $2,000 donation, we make them every council meeting. This is getting totally crazy.
is the next?
We do have a, you know, a tax number that, you know, was.
That's what we
Yep,
do.
yep, that's what we.
Is that tied to that account?
Huh?
Is that tied to that account?
Yeah,
Must be.
it's very.
Yep, that's the number Scott needs.
Yeah. That's,
That's what
Yeah.
Scott needs.
And the
That's,
thing is, I mean, if need be, they can change the title of that account.
no,
Yeah, we don't
Scott just needs the number,
no,
right?
I just, we
Now
need
we're
to make
talking
sure
about
that it has
donating to
something.
an organization instead of taking the money and donating it towards a Veterans Memorial. So we need the attorney here to try and
Yeah.
clarify these questions. Like I said, I've never heard anything this crazy in my life. Let's adjourn the public hearing at 6:50.
You gonna stick around for the next one, Fred? Nah, you can stay there.
Okay.
You're up close to the beginning.
Okay, we have some meeting minutes to approve. We have our January 12th, 2015 regularly scheduled council meeting minutes to approve. If there isn't any additions or corrections, I need a motion to have those approved.
I'd make a motion to approve the minutes from January 12th.
There's a motion on the floor from
I'll
Matt.
second that.
And a second by Mike. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, carried unanimously. Our agenda for this evening, do we have any additions or corrections there, Scott?
I don't have any unless anyone else does.
Okay. We looking for a motion to have our agenda approved.
I'll make,
Go ahead, Don.
I'll make that motion.
Motion on the floor by Donnie B. Can we get a
Second
second? Second by Matt. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, carried unanimously. First item on our agenda was an ordinance addition, and that was for our Veterans Memorial that is in the process of being constructed by some individuals. I know the city council had decided to give a $2,000 donation to that. We have looked at what that all entails via statute. The city would have to adopt an ordinance. We had a public hearing before the meeting at 6:30. We couldn't come to any conclusions via that ordinance. So what I would like to do is to table that ordinance addition for this evening and get back to our attorney to find out a lot of questions that we seem to have regarding that. Can I get a motion to have that done, or is there any discussion on whether you guys think that's a good idea?
I'd make that motion to table it for further information.
There's a motion on the floor from Mike
I'd second that.
and second by Matt. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried unanimously. Fred, what's kind of the update you got going on there?
The update is, it has to be done sometime in April. The stuff comes in sometime in February. Because we want to have a ceremony for Memorial Day. That's what our hope is. When I did the final agreement, they said spring, and I thought spring is too stretched out, so I put a date. And so, we're in good shape, you know. The very essential is 2,500 we get. They get extra, we can probably put a grand bench or, you know, something of this nature. And this is something that could live forever for us. It's quite a, and I mean, we talked about, and we totally appreciate everything you guys are trying to do. And we just, guys, sometimes they, you know, but all your folks. But anyway, we really appreciate it, because I know you've probably gone through hell trying to help us, you know. And that's the last thing that we want, because just letting us be there means a lot to us.
Well, Fred, excuse me, Fred, but it's us that owes you the thank you. And all the veterans that owes the thank you to you guys. And it's something that has been long overdue in our city. Country-wise, our veterans don't get enough recognition for what they've done. I think it's a worthwhile project. That's
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I think it's the least that we can do as well. I agree with
Yes,
Mayor
it's
Egan's
very
sentiments,
much
and
so.
it's just unfortunate that we have
Yeah,
to
sure.
go through the legalities here when it's.
It was so nice coming to a meeting
Fairly straightforward.
that we were so welcomed when we first came here, you know, and I thank you many, many times because you were so gracious. And I just, you talked about the possibility of helping us, you know, and we also hope that this will unite the veterans. They don't have to vote for the reason they don't want it. You know, we don't want them to ever feel that they have to. I mean, we welcome them. I mean, in our Legion, you need workers, and we're all getting old. I mean, you see when we have funerals, bunch of old guys. I'm 80, I'm one of the youngest ones, you know. And that's why they do the firing out in front of the church, because a lot of them can't walk out there anymore. And so, to unite the community, I mean, the thing is, I've said it before, we thank the veterans, but we also thank family and friends that kept our communities going while we were serving. You know, at a young age, we took all that stuff for granted, you know. I mean, hell, I was 18, they said, we shipped out of here, you know. You never knew where you were gonna sleep tonight or what was gonna happen, but that was the thing. And the business people, a lot of them have been very helpful. Your parents with the ballroom, I mean, God, I tell you couldn't ask for more. And the bank, you know, they're accepting donations, and it's surprising what's come in. And when you think of a deal like this, those kids at Holy Trinity raised over $1,400.
That's pretty cool.
You're doggone right. Hell, that's like 14,000 from the business, right?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
And I made a little note, Mike. Your grandfather and my uncle was Mike Flicker. That poor guy was gassed in World War I. And I'll tell you what, as you grow older, and we have that there, and your grandchildren go up to
That's
there.
part of the
and-
history.
And Aunt Regina and Uncle Mike, your grandparents up in heaven, they'll say, yeah, you know, young Mikey, he kind of helped with that, right?
Yeah, there you are.
Right?
Yep.
And I'll tell you what, at that time, there was no help for these veterans.
Yeah, not like, yeah, right.
No, there was nothing. You didn't have the VA, you didn't have these politicians or people all raising the hell. And Aunt Regina, hell, she cooked at her wedding. I mean, she did cleaning and everything. I don't know. And I'll tell you what, nobody could make dressing like she could, right? She could, right?
Oh, God, yeah.
She was a hell of a lady. Yeah, so I had a few anyway. She's my second cousin.
We're related.
I'm sorry for you.
Our sympathy, yeah.
Yeah, we'll send you a card, Fred.
But no, and I understand that the Lions are wanting to do a fundraiser sometime for us, which is great. And it's just pulling the community together. I mean, the ladies of the auxiliary, they did a breakfast at Buckman, and God, they did real well. Some of those guys helped her, and luckily enough, the bishop was there that day.
Oh, wow. See, there you go.
And he stood in line. He didn't buck the line.
Oh,
Well, he's
really?
lucky. Some of them women might have got pretty ticked off about
But
that.
really, you know, that's impressive, right?
That is very impressive.
You're doggone right. I mean, give credit where credit, and like I say, your grandfather spent a lot of time in the military, and so like I say, everybody's got somebody. Right? An
I think that's-
uncle, a dad, or
I think that's why, I think when you went out and found donations and started asking around for people to start contributing some money towards something like this, I think a lot of people feel passionately about that. They want to recognize veterans. They want to get involved with that somehow. They just don't go down the avenue to go down as far as that goes as a direct reason to give back to veterans, and this is exactly one of them, and we appreciate you going out and doing that. It's been phenomenal.
And like I say, I mean, there's veterans in the future, the past, the present, you know. It's just something because,
Well, it's something that the veterans shouldn't even have to do.
Yeah.
Really, this whole project is something that the veterans shouldn't even have to do.
And
This is
the
something that
thing
the
is,
community.
a lot of them that have donated or whatever, or helped, and if they weren't in the military, they should never feel bad, because the thing is, there were circumstances that kept them from going in, you know? Maybe they were the last kid on the farm, you know, because they always kept at that time. Or maybe they got married, you know, they got out of high school and that's where they got together in Korean War. If you were married, you didn't go in. To my remembering, that's where a lot of guys made mistakes. They came home on leave and then they got married. You know, they got married before they would never got in. So it's a thing, but no, I just appreciate all you're doing. I mean, even if the attorney says you can't do anything.
We're gonna do something.
No,
find
no,
out.
no,
Done, it's just,
You can come out there and help us dig or something, right?
Thanks a lot, Fred.
Yeah, you bet, I appreciate your
Yep,
time,
thanks,
and
Fred.
I'd like to say, anytime, who's next?
Notice it was the girls, Fred. Notice it was the girls that were clapping for you, know, these boys.
No, there's about time to get the hell out.
We're gonna get the clapping when
Okay,
we get
thanks,
to
Doc.
Memorial. Done.
Scott, we have our pay equity report. I believe this is something that is done every couple of years through the state, if I'm not mistaken.
I wanna say it's every.
Is it every-
3 to 5 years.
every 3 to 5?
You get
Okay.
chosen, you can get chosen in 2 years. It's kind of a lottery deal, as far as I understand. The pay equity report is in your packets. I did have a chance to speak with someone directly with pay equity. Everything I set up is correct and ready for review.
Okay.
So, everything, like I said, after speaking with her, everything should be, I know we spoke earlier in regards to this about how to set it up, and I was
Yeah.
unsure on some things, but it's set up properly and ready for review. So,
Okay.
just need a.
So we review and give you the go-ahead to send it in, or what's the deal
It's
here?
pretty much set up the way
Yeah.
there's really not.
Are
too
we
many
in
ways.
line?
We can't change it.
No.
We don't qualify for a couple things, but I believe we will be in line.
Okay. Well, I think we need a motion on,
I'd make a motion to approve the pay equity report. Is that what we need?
yep, that's what we need, Matt.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Matt and second by Donnie. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, carried unanimously. Next item is our library year-end report. You know, they always send a real nice, report over every year.
We're gonna make
The whole
you work
thing.
hard.
I did look over the report. I haven't seen reports in the past. If you look at the total circulation in 2014, it is growing. So that's definitely it grew from last year, I apologize, but in 2012 it was very similar. Otherwise, if you look at years past, it is growing. So it is
Yeah, 33,336.
it is a very positive thing. So
Yes, it is.
I just wanted to put that in you guys' packets just to review and just for your information.
I'd like to thank Dick Pajelski too, and Donnie for making this a possibility within our city, because of that particular building when it became available. I don't think we'd be having a library here today. So, special thanks to those guys.
And according to the report, they're real happy with Bob O'Tremba too.
Yeah, saw that. It's a nice plug for him, for all the stuff he does.
Yeah. Next item is our Morrison County Humane Society contract. I see there's, Eric, you wanna just kinda talk about this a little bit? I see our price went from about 2,300 to 1,125.
I explained, I think I talked to, well, Scotty first, but I spoke to Toby and Mike about this, where they ended up getting our households off of Wikipedia, and there's households, I think, were 758.
the household, our whole,
What they charge us for, and
yeah, it was $15.85, I think is what they gave us for, off of Wikipedia, and we don't even have a population that large. So the actual is $5.85, but households, but then I included businesses and things like that. So total was around $7.50, that's what we bill out every year, or every month. So I went off of $7.50, and that's where our new price comes in, which is $1,125. I did a little more research on that end, and I started looking into the statutes and all the fun things that would go along with us holding them here at the city of Pierz. We'd have to hold them for 5 days. We'd have to be open to the public 4 days a week. Meaning Bob would have to be there 4 hours nonstop, stay there for the public to come in. If he'd have to go out and run or something, that wouldn't qualify, that we'd fall out of that. After day 6, or on day 6, the property would become ours in regards to if the dog or the cat, no one claimed it, it would become our property, and then we can move forward from there. There is issues trying to find the right people to euthanize them and things like that. So there's a lot of different facts that go into holding them here, unfortunately. So after we looked at that, then Eric and I kind of put our heads together and see if we could lower that price, and we did get them to cut it over half. So that's at least the one positive out of the.
And is this something, did you ask going forward? I mean, next year, they aren't gonna raise it $500, they're continue to,
that's a question I didn't ask, because me and Scotty are the ones that caught
well,
where they came up with the wrong households to begin with.
right.
And so I have no idea what they did with the other townships and the other cities. But this is where it's about $50 per household, and that's why they came up with that amount, I believe.
And I did make it very clear in regards to where they're getting their information, they need to contact me directly to get that information, not going somewhere else.
Okay.
So that's where we are at with the
Well, that's livable,
contract.
Yeah.
in my eyes, compared to what we,
How many strays do you think that you take in a year?
Well, it's funny when I talk.
Is that that 7?
For us, it's 6 or 7 a year.
Cats or dogs,
Yep.
really? Either
And
way.
it's always 6 or 7. When I asked them on the numbers, I said, what does it cost per adult dog? I'm not talking about a puppy or cat. What they have to budget for is it's like $458 per animal, and that comes down to heat, electricity, staff, and that's how they come up with that number. But when I argued with them reference to what we bring, the 6 or 7, and I said, if you're gonna cut Little Falls in half from 60,000 down to 30,000, I said, why not cut everybody's in half? And she goes, Eric, we have not yet accepted what Little Falls is offering. And I said, well, here we are, and that's where me and Scott caught their misprint on ours already, cut it over half. And I think with the $1,100 that they're asking now,
We can't do it for that.
for $1,100, I mean?
No.
But even for a kennel, they're gonna have $1,000 in the
That's
that's
right.
a kennel.
Right.
Yeah, we can't do it.
we have,
We can't.
$11.25,
You know what I
we're better
mean?
off with $11.25.
Right.
Well, if you take in 6 or 7 dogs at $75 a piece, you may as well figure roughly $500. Well, really, for $600, are we gonna be putting up a kennel, having Bob stay there?
No,
feasting?
And
$1,800
I did look,
just
and it
to
was
put
around
up.
a 6, years back, $500 to $700 is what we were paying in each year. So, and that is with Eric trying to do whatever it takes to try and find an owner,
Before
the
they go
owner,
there.
or any other owner that goes there. We can minimize that time down. So I mean, that's another way to look at it, actually,
Oh,
I
sure,
guess, so.
sure.
I would make a motion that we contract with Morrison County Animal Humane Society for $11.25 for the year with our stray animals.
I'll second that.
And it's-
Motion on,
Go ahead, Toby.
motion on the floor from Mike and second by Stephanie. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, carried unanimously.
And that
Go ahead,
goes
Jim.
off of I could bring in 50 dogs next year, we're not getting charged on top
Per
of
animal.
per animals, which it can happen, but just so you know.
Yeah.
And that's
All
what
those-
happens running on these.
Yep, they can't go and buy any other citizens, gotta come in from the police department.
Although you could probably find 50 cats.
I know.
I just figured
The
the
only way
broken.
they would take it is if somebody took it in, they would call me before they take it, and I would say Linda's coming in with a lab, then they would take it, and I just gotta stop it and sign off on it.
It's gotta be through you, which is a good thing,
Right,
Just don't have
absolutely. I
anybody-
just was curious.
doing it, oh, that's good.
Thanks, Eric.
Scott, was there some type of safety committee update?
Okay, our safety committee has to go around, I think you guys know
Yep.
this already, go around and inspect buildings. This is just an update that, hey, we need to go and inspect buildings.
Who's the
I don't
safety
know.
committee?
Me and Donnie.
Matt and Donnie.
Yep.
I'm not
Okay.
sure what was all done last year, being I wasn't.
We need to do it.
Yes,
Yeah.
so, and I was pretty sure of that, but I just wanted to give you an update and say, hey, well, we got the year to do it, let's try to
Yep.
do something a month or something.
I did it with Adrian.
That's just to be clear, all city buildings, city hall, golf course shop.
It should be five,
shop.
I think it was 4 buildings.
It was, it's
It
city
falls-
shop, city hall, including nutrition center, fire department,
Ah, that's what it was, yeah.
clubhouse, and actually the sheds.
And the sheds, yeah.
Any buildings
There's,
out there.
there's so many that are on the league that are insured. I know there's for sure 4 buildings.
Yeah, no, those are.
That
For
are
our own
insured,
safety.
that are not.
No, it's, they're all insured.
Yeah.
It's just,
Well, that was,
You got it.
yeah, that, I know was the last directive is to do the 4.
Yep.
yes.
Buildings, yeah. We'll get that done.
But regardless, I think you guys have been doing them all anyway. It doesn't, yeah.
Mhm.
And Brandon, Bob, and
Actually, like City
Bob went
Hall.
with, I would say Bob went.
There's a whole check.
No, I know, but I mean, the fire department also inspects buildings.
But you
That's
can't
fire.
count that,
That's
you have
fire.
to do it separate, and
That's
Bob
fire,
helped,
not safety.
and Bob helped us with it when we did it.
Mhm.
But yeah, it has to be separate from the fire department ones,
Okay.
and he has checklists that go with it, you
Mhm.
used to.
Yeah, there is, there's
In
like
our
a sheet
box,
of like
yeah.
3 or 4 sheets is what I take off, just dripping stuff.
Okay, next item is our memo from Morrison County, Glenn Erickson's office, the county assessor's office. And it's just kind of a memo stating that, you know, we need to have the right people on the Board of Appeal and Equalization. And they are offering some online training certificate to make that available. And it looks like that is going to be this year. I know they have a spot on here, Scott, where you can actually sign up for it and try it out and see,
we,
you know.
we actually, or I should say, you guys we are good with this.
For this year?
We've got,
Well, this is, okay, so I just wanted to check, being some other topics with Matt.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to check and make sure who was certified and who needed to be certified, how many we need to be
You
certified.
need
Donnie's
one every
certified.
board.
It'll be a nice
Yes,
research
so
at the same time.
Toby and Mike will need to be recertified after 2016.
Yep.
Donnie is good through 2017. That is the information that I received.
Yep.
So just as an FYI.
There was a letter that came
What about
across from the
staff?
county though too, that's gonna have to be a yearly thing.
Because they were
Somebody's
always
gonna have to
always
be
like
certified, every year. Or you have to, if you're on, because if Donnie's certified, doesn't he have to do that every year?
No.
He doesn't?
No,
Okay, I thought I remembered.
It says right in here that
Okay.
at all these, when we do the Board of Equalization, we have to have one person
Okay.
certified
Who's attended the
on the,
Okay.
On the board.
and there's like 3.
And present at the
Okay.
meeting.
Yes, president.
That-
I thought I remember seeing something that was gonna have to be yearly, but anyway, never mind.
So anyway, the memo's here, if you guys wanna take a closer look at that, and anybody who's interested in taking that, I would highly, you know, recommend it. We have a renewal of consumption and display permit for the city clubhouse.
I just wanted to bring this, present this to you. We do need to renew this. I'm not sure if it was presented in the past, but I wanted to bring it, does have the city clerk. It does require the city clerk's signature, so I wanted to bring it to council for
Okay.
approval.
Okay, we will need a motion to have that reapproved.
I'd make a motion to approve the renewal of consumption and display permit for City of Pierz. Village of Pierz.
course.
golf course.
I'll second that.
Motion on the floor by Matt, and second by Donnie. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, carried unanimously. We have a Morrison County Fair request.
I did want to put this in your packet as well. I did receive this from Morrison County. I did check back, and looks like all the way back to 2005, if you look on page number 2, we donated around $275. 2012, we donated around $275. We made small donations. It looks like it was kind of depending on maybe what the budget line was or whatever the case may be. So once again, I wanted to bring this to your attention. This has been something that we've been doing in the past, but it's been periodically. So, yeah, that's the information I have on that. I'm not sure if, like I said,
They're
It
looking
looks like
for,
it just-
they're looking for a minimum donation of $500.
correct, and that's as a sponsorship signage, but keeping in mind that this would have to come out of our donation line, more likely, so that is going to be maxed out.
What do you guys wanna do?
When are they asking us for it, or when?
I'm not sure. Obviously, the fair
Sure.
is many
Yeah.
months away now, but I think if we do any kind of donation, they'll accept it anyway, even if it's the day before, I'm sure, but, I'm sure within the next month or two.
Any thoughts?
I don't know, for $500 for a minimum donation, doesn't seem like you really get a whole heck of a lot, I guess, just minimal advertising and, I mean, I hate to not, but $500 is $500 at the same point too.
No, I suppose we wouldn't have to give them 500, we could do a lesser amount.
We were only, last year said 275.
Well, it was 2012, so like I said, we haven't been doing this.
So we haven't
every year.
donated,
We don't have to.
we haven't done anything since 2012.
Correct, as far as my records show, it's not.
I don't
we
recall them
only-
coming with a request since 2012 either, because usually they kind of send out a request, I think.
Okay.
500 to put a sign at the entrance to the fairgrounds.
I'm not sure, but.
It-
So if you really
It's-
give us
it's the
any good,
support
you
from
know,
our
City of
county
Pierz
fairs.
sitting at the entrance to the fairgrounds.
I don't think it's in, and who knows, maybe that 275 was the minimum at that point, and it changed now, you know, obviously. They could have risen by now, so.
So if somebody want to throw a number out there, if they feel comfortable donating to the Morrison County Fair?
But we've not donated since 2012, correct?
Yep.
Correct, and we don't have to donate, or, I mean, that's completely.
It'd be kinda nice if we could get them
Yeah.
a couple $100 or
I agree with that.
$50 or something, you know, if you guys are okay with something like that.
I'm assuming any donation under $500, you're not gonna get any.
We're not gonna get
recognition
any,
for it,
no,
but at least
it's
at the
gonna be
end-
just a
but at least at
support.
the end of the day, we did contribute.
It's just gonna be a support.
You get a motion?
I'd make a motion to donate $250 to the Morrison County Fair.
Motion on the floor by Matt, get a second. Is there any other discussion?
I'll second that motion.
Second by Donnie, all those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, carried unanimously. Our next item we have is our city clerk resignation.
Yeah.
Let you take the lead here.
Yeah, well, like we had discussed in the workshop on Wednesday, I am gonna no longer be a resident of the city of Pierz in the future. Looks like it's gonna take place probably on first week in March some point. Without going into too much details at a fully public meeting here, I guess I'd like to turn in my letter of resignation. That is gonna be effective if you do approve a resolution, February 27th, so it'll be after the last council meeting in February. And then at that point, deciding how you guys want to go forward with that, if you approve the resolution, would be entirely up to you. I know that there's a couple options out there that you can pursue, so. But at that point, I guess I'd like to read my formal letter of
Absolutely.
resignation, so.
Absolutely, yeah.
Mayor and fellow council members, I'm requesting a resolution to be passed accepting this letter of resignation due to the fact I will no longer be a full-time resident within the city of Pierz. I'm also requesting an effective date February 24th, 2015. It has been a pleasure working with all of you, and it will be an experience I truly will miss. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks.
So it's unfortunate, but at the same time, it's
You've done
one of those things I'm gonna miss.
remarkable job
Thank
at your clerk's position, the time that you put into it, the research that you've done, things of that nature. I mean, it's just been fantastic, the amount of time and things, and you approach things with a good head, and we're gonna miss you. I'm definitely gonna
Yeah,
miss you.
likewise, and I appreciate the compliments, and yeah, it's something that I'll definitely miss too. It's, putting in hours into the projects and stuff that we work on, and I found it as a really rewarding experience that I'll miss, so.
Yeah, we're gonna miss you, yeah.
You said 24th?
24th.
You said 27th.
It is
The last council meeting is the, depends if we're going to end the month, last council meeting is actually
the 23rd, yep, so it'd be effective 24th.
24th, okay,
Yep.
because you mentioned 27th.
Yep, I know I did, I had my date wrong, sorry.
Okay. So you're looking at the 24th, Matt?
Yes, sorry.
Do we?
So if you would accept my letter of resignation, then you would have to pass a resolution accepting that?
Mm-hmm.
And then pass a resolution to open his position.
You wouldn't have to do that until,
Well, what we're gonna have to do is, I think we can do the resolutions, what I've been looking into. Matt's effective date, being the 24th, we can approve that resolution, and then we will have to do another resolution to open up the position. There will be a vacancy.
to declare that there's a vacancy.
Yes.
And you could approve that resolution tonight as well too, just be it effective.
If we have that resolution, I don't think we have one.
No,
Okay.
we have to make the resolution in the meeting. We can, Mike, Donnie, Steph can say, whatever.
Well, let's take it a step at a time. First, we gotta accept his.
Correct.
I will make a motion accepting Matt's resignation
Via
letter.
resolution
Via resolution.
01262015-01.
Whatever he said.
And I will second that 01, what I said.
01262015 dash, which one? Oh, 01. There you go, guys.
Well, thank you.
Now, if there's a motion on the floor and a second, all those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Thanks, Matty. As far as filling your position, we will have to, there's a couple different ways we can do it. We can simply appoint, because we're under a population of 10,000. We can also take and open it up for an application process. We have to post for a minimum of 10 days. Or we can actually run an ad in the paper for a minimum of 14 days. Now, because we're a population under 10,000, we don't have to do the paper ad, but we will have to post for a minimum of 10 days if we decide to post for the position.
My preference is we post for applications.
That's fine, I'm just letting you know what the
I know,
parameters
well,
are.
I
Yep.
thought it was for discussion, so I guess
Yep,
that's
no,
my.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I think
Well, we
that's
would
good.
do the same thing that we did when Marine passed away.
Well, we have to make that decision, so.
Well, I
make a
mean, the
motion.
same process.
I make a
So-
motion, we post for applications,
Post being in the paper.
however.
14 weeks or.
14 weeks.
Or 14 days, 2 weeks. Okay, so Toby said it 2 ways. We can either post within the community for 10 days.
Yep.
Or we post via Morrison County Record, for example, the paper, for 14 days.
So via community would be
10 days,
At the-
posting it around.
Our normal posting spots.
I
we
guess
have-
That's what I meant, that's what I meant, okay.
Yep.
So
I
city-
guess because I know how people are busy, they don't always get to the normal posting places, they may hear this, they may
Or
not.
look at it.
95% of them also read the paper, I guess my preference is it to be posted on paper too, but I'm just one person.
I would agree with you, Steph.
So if we're looking at that, we're looking at 2 weeks of the week of the, is it the 16th, 17th, 18th?
Yeah, keep
We'd be
in
looking at-
mind, you guys, we need to get the position filled,
We can-
before Matt's date, because
Right.
we can't go without that position.
That
So
person
we'll have
has to
to
sign papers.
even if we have to take an appoint temporarily, we can't do that, but we have to appoint for the position. Legally, that's what we're.
Start the process tomorrow for the days required. You know, to give us time to set up,
So, right now,
interviews and,
we'd be looking at the 26th, so 27th, so by the 30th, or the 10th, we would be, our 14 days would be in. From that point, from the 10th to the 13th, we can set up some kind of a review amongst the council. And then at that point, the next following week would be set up for interviews, and then the 23rd, we would have to appoint. So it would
Yeah,
be.
we can't go without a vacancy.
Correct.
We're supposed to fill or appoint that vacancy.
Yeah.
well, that timeline would work just right.
As quickly as you can, I mean,
Yeah.
there's leeway, you don't have, yep.
Yeah, I mean, you have to give people notice, you can't just call them, so I just want to make
All right,
sure.
Steph, you got this all down, make a motion.
I make a
There hasn't
motion
been a
via
motion asked for yet.
resolution 01-26215-02.
I don't remember asking for a motion. So, Stephanie, you want to make a motion?
No, I guess not then. Go ahead, Dolly.
Who's going to second it? Who wants to make a motion?
Is there a motion on the floor?
There is a motion on the floor,
I'll second it.
and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, carried unanimously. What else, do we have any department reports? Chief, you got anything?
Not from me, Mayor.
Okay. I don't think we have anything else, no other departments are here. With that, I'll be looking for a motion to
Anything on your
I
adjourn.
end?
don't have nothing. Everything is up above.
I'm
Linda?
gonna be on vacation from February 20th to the 27th, but it probably doesn't matter. I mean, you'll have somebody appointed probably by that time. It's not gonna matter because I'm not voting.
Okay. Well, thanks, Linda.
You're gone, what, the 20 to the 20?
To the 27th.
We won't have any CDs or anything?
Well, if we're,
Nope.
we set up interviews, I mean,
What, those will be set up that week before I go, right?
you'd be here yet
Yeah.
for that. So the full council should, whether you have a vote or not, in my opinion, we should all interview.
Oh, absolutely.
Or as long as it's done for the 20th.
Okay, with that, I'll be looking for a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Motion on the floor by Matt.
I would second that
Second
motion.
by Mike, all those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed?
And let our visitors, come up and help us have a meat and cheese tray from,
That would be very nice.